Hey everyone, hope your day's going well. In this video, we're going to get into 3 ways to shift a connection and shift a relationship. When you really focus on a connection, any connection in the world, whether it's a connection with your family, your society, your culture, other people, there's always a quality of emotion. Sometimes that emotion might be ill will, sometimes it might be pride, sometimes it might be disgust, whatever it is. But the key thing here is that every human being, and all of us are interconnected, and we all have an emotional quality that flows into our relationships. And that can be goodwill sometimes that can be ill will, sometimes that can be whatever emotion that you have towards that person based off of the quality of the connection. So it's really important to understand how to shift that. So in this video, I'm going to share with you, how do you shift the quality connection? How do you shift the connection, the emotional flavor of a relationship? The first way to do this is to recognize the emotional quality of the connection itself. What is being projected at you? We as human beings, when our heart's open, we take certain people in, and that informs our system. If we have an open heart, my mother, she would love me in certain ways, and that created me to be a certain way. My father would love me in certain ways, and that created me to be a different way. Sometimes his version and form of love and care was, being very, very strict and stern. And then other times with my mother, it was her, being nurturing and giving me food or giving me whatever I needed. So the point that I'm making here is I got a sense of emotional quality of each one of those connections, and that created me and impressed upon me a certain way of being. Mr. Rogers has a great saying. He says that every single person who's influenced you brought you into this world and brought you into your being. So we impress upon each other. Now, if you haven't realized this yet, it's pretty amazing how life creates you from the outside in. But you can get to a point in your reality where you can create yourself from the inside out based off of how you show up in the world and how you push back at the world, or how you absorb the world, or how you take it in. So the first key thing to really recognize to shift any emotional quality of a relationship is recognize, what is the emotional quality of it in the first place? Is there good aspects of it? Is there bad aspects of it? I have a certain relationship with my HOA, not good. I have another certain relationship with some of my clients, a relationship with my job. So the emotional quality of each one of these really determines the experience that you have, whoever's on the receiving end. So when you get certain emotion projected at you, maybe it's jealousy or envy. Sometimes it can be hard being a leader. I've had jealousy and envy projected at me, and I could feel it, and I'm just like, blast that out of my energy field. But I can still feel those projections. The more visible you get in the world, the more those projections are going to come at you. So you have to know how to shift those very, very quickly. But you can't shift them unless you can identify what emotion is being projected at me in the first place. Then once you realize that emotion is projected at you and you recognize it, that's when you can at least start to shift it. So the first thing is to recognize the emotion that's being projected at you. That's number one. Number two is recognize exactly when that emotion is being projected at you. You can absorb it and then focus, third eye, pineal gland, focus on a different emotion and consciously project that back. And this is why they say love is one of the greatest forces. They've done muscle tests where when a person's in love and they put pressure on one part of the body, they see how the body kinesthetically responds, what's the charge to it. And they have found that love genuinely has more of a force behind it. There's basically there's more force behind it when you're in that emotional state. So one of the things that I do is when I get a certain emotion projected at me, I take it in, I feel it. And then some of it might not be pleasant, other aspects of it might be good, other aspects I might be like turned off by, but I feel it. And then I focus on a new emotion. I allow that emotion to expand in my inner world, in my heart space, and then I project that back out. And then as you project that back out, that will actually go through the emotional cord that is connected to you and that other person, and that will flow back into the connection itself. So you can learn to shift any connection, any quality of connection through the way you interact with the world. You first have to feel the emotion that's being projected at you. Maybe it's disgust, maybe it's hate, maybe it's love, good, positive, negative, everything in between. And then you can take that into your heart space, focus up here, what do I want to project back? And then project back whatever you want. Now, this doesn't mean being a doormat. This doesn't mean being a doormat. This doesn't mean being, allowing people to walk all over you. That's not it at all. What it means is seeing exactly what emotional energies are being projected at you. Emotions don't just happen in your body, they happen in the world. Emotion is literally a connection. It's what's moving in the ethers. So if you have anxiety, it's because your spirit is trying to be somewhere ahead of the game where it's not. If you have depression, it's because your spirit is trapped in the past and it's not present with you in the physical body. You're hung up on something in the past. The point that I'm making here is when emotion is projected at you, you can feel it. And it's not your emotion, but your energy system, your being will feel it. And the way to transmute it is to absorb it, take it in, focus on a different energy that you want to project out, and then project that back to the initial source or to the initial connection. This takes practice. It took me, I'd say 5 years to master this. So you can shift any quality of relationship if you have a lot of inner energy, Taoists call it qi, inner energy, to shift the emotional quality of that connection. And then you project it back out through the world, back at the initial connection, and you'll see that emotional cord, that emotional connection will naturally shift because you've projected a different energy at it. A lot of people are just reactive. They get something bad at them, they react back. But when you're responsive, you can take it in, absorb it. I don't like this. You can focus on it, shift it, push it back out into the world or into the initial connection, and you can change the quality of the relationship or the quality of that emotional connection. Now, number 3 is a caveat. Number 3 is knowing the areas where you can't change it. And that's if a person's closed off. If a person's heart is closed off, maybe they've had trauma, you can still impact them, you can still soften them, but it's going to take a lot of your own energy to really soften that because their heart is closed off. Maybe they've been betrayed in the past. Maybe they've been taken advantage of. So what happens when the heart feels betrayed or gets taken advantage of? It closes down, shunk, like a flower. Heart closes, contracts. Energy is now a wall is built up over the heart, and suddenly you can't work with with that person because any emotional energy you project back to that person, there's a wall there. And so it's going to take a lot more compassion, a lot more empathy, a lot more of that projection of love back into that connection to melt the heart wall, to allow that energy to transmute that emotional connection. And either the person will run from that because they won't know how, their nervous system won't know how to take it, or they won't run from it, and instead what they'll end up doing is it'll melt them, but that is going to take a long time, and that might not be worth your while. So it's really valuable to see all the different ways you can work with emotion and the projections you get in the world and how to work with it and move it. You have the power to shift those. You just got to own that power fully and know how to do it. Beautiful. That's all I got for this time, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Check out what I got there in the description box below, and I'm wishing you a powerful week.